Next talk is about RV script. So I'm very glad to welcome the next speaker. Her name is Koshika. She's an engineering graduate, specialized in electronic and communication engineering. She's a classical dancer and has done Arangetam in Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Mohiniyattam. But because of her passion and love towards art, she chose to become an flora illustrator. This made it possible for her to get into this internship, so which gave her the platform to learn and grow her knowledge, not only in art but also about museum management. So I welcome Koshika for her talk on RV script.
Thank you, Shri, for the beautiful introduction. And thank you for the beautiful talk that you did. It was really knowledgeable. So, good morning, everyone. I'll share my screen. Just let me know if you could see the screen. Okay. So, welcome all once again. Good morning. And thank you for joining the talk. So, this is going to be the last talk of this museum management internship. So this is going to be a talk about a script that is one of the dialect of Tamil. There's a lot of dialects in Tamil language, but most are unknown. But the most unknown is Lisanul Arviyya, which is the lost language of the Tamil Muslims. So first, let's get into the origin of the Tamil Muslims. So it is said that even before the rise of Islam, that is around the 6th century, which dates back around 2000 years back, the Arabs and the Tamil people had contact with each other because of trade. The commercial trade was happening around the 1st and the 2nd century. Is what evidences prove that Arabs and the Tamils had trade contact with each other. So even before the rise of Islam, that is around the 6th century, because Islam rose after the 6th century when Muhammad Prophet got the message from Angel Gabriel. So that is when Islam came, like after the rise of. So after the rise of Islam, what happened is before the rise of Islam, Arabs came into Tamil Nadu as traders and navigators. So once Islam started to rise, the Arabs came into Tamil Nadu as missionaries, and they started to spread Islam. So that is how they started to convert the Tamil Muslims. So the converts of Muslims are called as the Tamil Muslim. So the religion is Islam. The people who follow the religion is called Muslims, and the Tamils who follow Islam is called as the Tamil Muslims. And why is Tamil Nadu more important for the commercial trade is that if you see in this map, you can know that you can see that Tamil Nadu is in the middle. It's like a transit point. So if you come from Arabia, it is a transit point, and even if you come from China, it's a transit point. So evidences prove that Arabs came to Tamil Nadu, stopped their ship, and then moved to China. And same like that, Chinese came to when they come from China, they stopped in Tamil Nadu and then moved to Arabia. So that is how the trade was happening during the 1st and the 2nd century in Tamil Nadu. And yeah, so that is how Islam came into Tamil Nadu. So there is a lot of research about North side Muslims, but there is very less information about the Tamil Muslims. So yeah, so next thing. So this topic, my topic is completely focuses on the Coromandel Coast, which is from Andhra to Cape Comorin, that is Kanyakumari. But the modern scholars say that this the south, once again, okay, the south Coromandel Coast is from Cape Comorin to Madras. So how does this name called Coromandel Coast came? So that was given by this modern Coromandel Coast name was given by the Portuguese. So first, before that, this was called as the Chola country or Chola's coast or Chola Mandala. So from that, the Portuguese derived the name Coromandel Coast. But the Arabs called it as Mabar. Mabar meaning the fearing place. So why Mabar? Mabar because as I said before, it is a transit. It is a transit point. It was in the mid. So that is why they gave the name as Mabar. And the Tamil Muslims, were mostly found in Kayalpatnam, Keelakarai, and places like around in and around Tirunelvelis. So, what is the origin of Kayalpatnam? So, this is a description that was given in Silapadikaram. There was a port called as Korkai, which is known as the Pearl Port of Tamil Nadu. So Muslims were doing trade in this Korkai, and after which was in the river of the mouth Tamirabarni. So because of some reasons, they abandoned this port and moved to another port called as the Kayal. But they are not similar. Kayalpatnam and Kayal are two different ports. So around the 16th century, when Portuguese came in and took over the Kayal port, the Muslims didn't fight with them. They just moved to the Kayalpatnam coast. So that is how. So Kayal is different and Kayalpatnam is different. That is how the origin of Kayalpatnam is. Around 1592, that is around 16th century, the Portuguese came in and took Kayal, the Kayal port, and just Muslims moved to Kayalpatnam. The Tamil Muslims moved to Kayalpatnam, and Kayalpatnam port became the rival port of Kayal. So that is how the Kayalpatnam origin of Kayalpatnam. That is the origin of Kayalpatnam. So, as I said, there are a lot of evidences that prove the contact that Arabs and Tamils had with the Tamils had. So first, let's see about the travelogues of the different authors. Like first, the natural history of Pliny, that is around the 1st century. So that talks about how Romans bought articles from the Arabs to know about India. So we have other evidences showing that Greeks and Romans were the first one to have contact with Tamil Nadu or India. But in this travelogue, it says otherwise. Because it says that, and also there is other proofs that say that Romans didn't have direct contact with the Tamils. It is through Arabs they had contact with the Tamils. So that is what the natural history of Pliny says. Next is the Peripels of Mediterranean Sea. This talks about how ships from Arabia came with cargoes of Arab cargoes and Greek cargoes, and that is the evidence that talks in the Peripels of Mediterranean Sea. There is also one more evidence, which is the Hippolus monsoon wind. That is a monsoon that was discovered by Hippolus. So that is why the monsoon wind is called as the Hippolus South monsoon wind. So if you see in this map, you can see a purple line which is going around the map. So before the discovery of this Hippolus monsoon wind, what the traders did is they moved along the coast, hugging the coast, thinking that if they move deep in the sea, they will get lost. Fearing that if they travel deep into the sea, they will get lost. They always traveled hugging the coastline, and they faced really a lot of difficulties in this. One, it took a very long time to reach their destination. Two, there were a lot of attacks by pirates. So it was really difficult for them to reach Tamil Nadu or like their destination point. So after the discovery of this Hippolus monsoon wind, what happened is it was really easy for the Arabs. So the Hippolus wind, like you can see the red line that is shown on the map, shows the way of the Hippolus wind. So Arabs moved into the deep sea from Arabia to Musiri or Tamil Nadu, and the days was really reduced, and it was easy for them. The days was really reduced to just 40 days. It just took 40 days for them to reach Tamil Nadu. That is what is said in the Peripels of Mediterranean Sea. Then the travelogues of Marco Polo. The travelogues of Marco Polo says about how horses are being bought from the Arabs for a huge amount of money, because in India, in Tamil Nadu especially, we were not able to bring up horses. So they say that Arabs are good with horses, and they bought for a very huge amount the horses from Arabs. Yeah. So, and also in Rehla, if my pronunciation is wrong, please forgive me. So, yeah. So, the Rehla of Imam Battuta, it talks about the Devdasi system and the Muta marriage. Muta marriage is a temporary marriage. So, when the Arabs came here to Tamil Nadu, they had the system of marrying the local women, and then while they move back to their country, they divorce and they move back. So that is called as the muta marriage or the temporary marriage. So this is a small line from the Perils of Mediterranean Sea, which talks about the cargoes from Arabia, the ships, abundant ships sent there with cargoes from Arabia. So yeah. Next is our own Tamil Sangam literature from the 2nd century. There are lots of evidences. Sangam literature are not only just poets and poems. They have a lot of history inside them. There's a lot of, if you just read them as like poets, there's a lot of secret. There's a lot of history behind every single line you see. So these are the Sangam literatures that talk about the Arabs' contact with Tamil Nadu. பத்து பாட்டு எட்டு தொகை அகநானூறு பத்தினப்பாலை மதுரை காஞ்சி தொல்காப்பியம் and சிலப்பதிகாரம். So this is a line from பத்து பாட்டு முல்லை பாட்டு, which talks about Yavaners. We'll see about detail about the Yavaners in the slide that's about to come. So it says like Valipunar Yakai Vanahan Yavanar. That's like harsh Yavaners with fierce appearance, wearing bulky shirts, tight girdle by horse rein on their strong bodies, decorated the esteemed king's quarters. So if you see this, in this Yavaners were said as soldiers. They are soldiers, they were esteemed in the king's quarters. So we'll see detail about this Yavaners in the coming slides. So these are the subdivisions of Muslims that was in the ancient time. So these are not subdivisions because of classes or the caste system, because Tamil, like normally Islam and Muslim, didn't have caste system. That was a major advantage. That also we'll see in the coming slides why. So this is all the subdivisions are because of the works they did. It's not because of some like caste system, it's because of the work they did. They were subdivided into these things. So first is the Yavaners, as we saw on the first slide. They were set as soldiers, artisans, and traders. So the before slide you saw that the descriptions which talks about them as soldiers. So there are other descriptions in Pattupattu itself, which says that they came in as traders. They came in as traders bringing gold and went back with black gold of Tamil Nadu, which is the pepper. And in another Sangam literature, they are called as the artisans because of their beautiful lamps they make. So that are the descriptions that we have about Yavaners in Sangam literature. Next, if you have any questions at the end of the session, we'll have 15 minutes to ask your questions. So Manjula, who raised the hand, like at the end of the session, I'll ask you whatever your doubt is. Thank you. And next is the Sonagar. Sonagar is instead of Yavaners, later period, instead of Yavaners, the word Sonagar was used. It is called a Sonagar, Jonagar also. So they were also almost similar to Yavaners. Then comes the Turkar. Turkar, there is not much evidences, but they say maybe they are the Muslims who came from Turkey. So they were called as the Turkas. So I have heard from my grandmother saying Tulukan, so Tulukan and Tulukachi. So the male of the Turukar family is called as Tulukan and female is called as Turukachi. So I have, these are even Tulukachi, sorry. These are used even now in day-to-day life when people refer to Muslims. They use this terms. So I have heard this from my grandmother. So I may know this name. When I was researching about this, I know this names. Yeah, I am very familiar with these names. Yeah. So next is router. Router were horsemen. These router is used even now. I guess it's used now. They were horsemen. These terms were used usually by Hindus as well. The router term was used by Hindus as well. They are called as the horsemen. So scholars have a claim that they might have come because, as we saw in the travel of Marco Polo, the Arabs brought the horses. So maybe these Hindu kings assigned these Arabs to teach about the horse and the tricks to do with the horses. But in later period, they might have taken the position of chieftains and zamindars in the court. Is what we have about routers. Next is the Labai. Labai origin is not really known. We have not much evidences about Lebe, but different scholars have different mentions about how this Lebe might have been origin. So they say that Lebe are some say they fled from Iraq, some say they were slaves of Arabs, but we have no clear evidences who these Lebe are. But my personal experience with this word Lebe is I have seen and I have heard this Lebes are teachers in madrasas, and also I have heard that Lebes are given a really good importance in the marriage functions and ceremonies. So I'm not sure, like, is this a really good evidence, but I have heard this. So next is the Marikas. Marikas are the rich people of this subdivision. They were merchants, they were boatmen, they were king of the sea, they ruled the sea. So that is what we know about Marikas. Next is the Deccani. Deccani is usually the Urdu speaking Muslims. So their language is Urdu. The Deccani is Deccan Muslims. So that is what is called, that changed to Deccani. Next is the architectural evidences that we have to say that, yeah, Tamil Muslim origin was before the 2nd century. No, I mean during the 2nd century. So these are the mosque or masjid that you can still find in Tamil Nadu. So Nader Shah Mosque, Old Juma Masjid in Kilakare, Kutab Big Masjid in Kayalpatnam, Tomb of Qasim in Kanyakumari, Tomb of Abdul Rahman in Tirunelveli. So these are a few pictures I'm sharing. So this is the Nader Shah Mosque in Tirchi. If you see, like, I personally, when I saw this picture, I felt like there is a little bit of a temple touch in this. So if you see the architecture, most of the mosque that was built during those times had a Dravidian architectural style within. So if you see the colors and the different architectural works that had this mosque has a little bit of a Dravidian touch in it. So this is, okay, I know this looks like a temple for you guys, but this is a mosque. This is the old Juma Masjid in Kilakare. So that's what I said. They had this Dravidian architectural touch in most of the mosques built during that time. This is around the like 7th century. This was built around the 7th century. So if you see this mandap, you can't actually see in all mosques this mandap. This is a proper architectural style of Hindu temples. So that is a style that has been used in this mosque. And also the inside of the mosque, both the other pictures, the one on the right below is the main gate entrance, and the one on the top is the inside of the mosque. So if you see the architectural designs, you can see like it resembles a a temple. So this shows us how the Tamil Muslims had a great connection with their culture as well as their religion. They were so close to their culture, that is the Dravidian culture, and the religion, which is Islam. So this is a small video about the Periyapalli, that is in Keelakarai. So 1 second. So if you see here, you can, I'm not sure whether you can see it clearly. It is written 843, which is the year it was built. And next is here, you can see how the structures are. It looks like a temple, right? So that is how and here we have in the masjid itself, we have evidences saying that this was built by Muhammad Khilji in 843 AD, and this was renovated again by Sultan in 1336. So this is the evidences, and if you see, it has really a good structural, where you can see the pillars, and yeah, that has a touch of the Dravidian style. So if you see here, this pillar has a Dravidian architectural style. Yeah. Next, we move on to the inscription evidences that we have about this Tamil Muslims. So first is the Leaden Grand or the Andimangalam copper plate from Rajaraja Chola temple, which talks about a signature by a person called Abu Zayd al-Hassan. He has signed in an court order or something. Okay, so this shows how Muslims, that is like Arabs, had a place in court as well. So if they had the authority to sign an rule. So that shows how the Arabs played a really good role in the court as well. So next is the Goripalayam Dargah in Madurai, has a stone inscription which talks about the Nayakas and dispute that happened, and how the Nayakas supported the Muslims and gave a rule, like gave an authoritative thing that supports the Muslims. That are the inscription details we have. So now let's move on to the actual topic, that is the Lisanul Arviyya. This is okay. These are the explanations for the word. So what is Lisanul Arviyya? Like what is Lisanul Arviyya? It's actually a script. It's not just a script. It's more than a script. It's a phonetics that was used by this Arab Tamils. So first, let's see what is the meaning of the word Lisanul. Lisanul means a language in Arabic. So some scholars say that this Lisanul means language in Arabic, and Arviyya must have come from the word Aravam. So this Tamil people in ancient times were called by the Telugus as Aravar. We have evidences showing that the Tamil people were called as Aravar. So from the word Aravar or Aravam, and Aravam was called the language. The Tamil language spoken by the Tamil people were called as Aravar. And the Tamil people were called as Aravas or Aravalar or Aravar. So maybe the scholars claim that the Arviyya name might have origin from this term called Aravar. So evidences in Kalingata Parani talks about a war where the Kalingata soldiers are running away from a war because saying the word Aravar Varuvar. So it says that they might be Tamil people. So, and also there is a description below the line itself, thinking that they are Tamils. So it's not sure that whether they were Tamil people or the Kalinga soldiers thought them to be Tamil people. So we have no evidence, like we don't have like proper evidence to say that this was called as Aravas. Tamils were called as Aravas. So these are all just assumptions, and just we saw the evidences, and we have like mentions and claims that maybe this might be that, this might be that. Okay, so that is how the word Aruvia or Aravi came. So Aravi means Arabic Tamil or Arabic Tamil. It's a script. So this is the definition that is given by two scholars. One is Manavai Mustafa. He says that it's a Tamil written in Arabic script. So writing Tamil in Arabic script is called as Arabic Tamil or Arabi. So I'll use the term Arabi from now on. And other scholars have a definition saying that Arabic Tamil is a mixture of Arabic word in Tamil script. So yeah, this is the origin and development. The proper origin of Arabi is not yet confirmed. We have no evidences because a lot of scholars don't have a lot of interest in, I don't know why, but Tamil Muslim culture has been left from a lot of studies. So yeah, so the proper origin of Arabi is not yet known, but some scholars claim that it might be from 8th. So some scholars say that it might be from the 8th to the 19th century that this script was developed. So why the script was developed? So there's a lot of questions like why did they make a script for themselves? Tamil Muslims, why did they make a script for themselves? So Yunus Ahmad Muhammad Sharif say this was developed by the Tamil speaking Muslims because Quran, as we know, Quran is not allowed to be translated in any other language. It was in Arabic and it should be learned in Arabic. So this, because the converts of Tamils, they know only Tamil, they don't know Arabic. So to learn the Quran, they might have learned Arabic, and to learn Arabic, they made an easy way using their own culture, own language to learn Arabic. So maybe it's the Tamils that developed the script, is what is said by Yunus Ahmad Mohammed Sharif. And Dr. K.M.A. Ahmed Zubair says that it may be coined by the Arabs because Arabs came here to Tamil country to make trade. So in order to make trade, the commercial activities, they have to record the commercial activities. So to record the commercial activities, they might have used this. So the objects and the objects they traded, they had a Tamil name as well. So to record these things, they might have used the Arabic to write Tamil. And they also he also says that the Arabs were really interested in Tamil to learn new script. So they learned Tamil using the Arabic script, Arabic letters. So maybe that is how this Arabic developed, is what is said by Ahmed Zubair. And Ederson Trustin says that Arvi was developed to teach the children of Labbe and Marika in madrasas. So this script was developed to teach the children of Labbe and Marika. That is one scholar's claim about how this script developed. So as I said, due to commercial reasons and translating of Quran is not allowed, and yeah, so that is why these are the reasons we find the origin of the development of the script. So the places of origin, they say, as I said earlier, Kalpatnam, Keelakare in Tamil, in India, were the places where the Tamil Muslims were all found, and in Colombo as well. So Sri Lanka, Colombo, these were all together. So they were all main ports of trade. So the origin of Aravi is said to be in these places, but we have no clear-cut evidences for that. Okay. Now the transliteration. So Arabic has 40 letters, including A and O. It has 42 letters in total. So how the script was developed is it has 28 letters from Arabic, and 12 letters were added to this, putting dots and marks on above or below the Arabic alphabets. This script was developed. So why this 12 uh, additional letters were added? Because uh, if you see in Arabic, there are certain words that Tamil doesn't have. You can't translate them in Tamil. So to make that, and also there is some sounds that are in Tamil that can't match the Arabic letters. So that is how, like the phonetics, the sounds, to match both the sounds. So if you have a script, the sound or at the sounds, the grammars, everything should match, right? So to match it, they say like, and again, 12 new Arabic letters were formed. So these are the Arabic letters, Aleph, Ba, Ta. These are the 28 Arabic letters. And this is 246 Tamil letters. So if in this Ak is not there, if you add Ak, almost around 247 letters. So if you see here in Tamil, we have 247 letters, and in Arabic, we have 28 letters. So Arabic, mixing Arabic and Tamil, they formed a new script called as the Arvi or Arabic Tamil. So it's beautiful. And also they made sure to match all the grammars and phonetics. Like it is really amazing to see like how they made the script. So this is the Arabic Tamil letters. So here you can see like almost 42 letters. There are you can see the differences if you can see. Like this is the first is Aleph and Ba. So different dots were added above and below the letters to make this Arabic Tamil script, Arabic Tamil letters. So this is Arabic Tamil manuscript I got from Muhammad Public Library in Triplicane. I'm not sure of Arabic. I know Tamil, but I'm not familiar with Arabic. I'm not sure what is written here. Yeah, so this is the books I found, handwritten manuscripts I found in Muhammad Public Library in Triplicane. So next, the literature works of Arabic Tamil. So the Arabic script, Arabic Tamil, that is Arabic script, was not only used to write or learn Quran. This was not only taught in madrasas. No, it was, they had a lot of other secular subjects as well. These the writers had talks, written manuscripts about religious manuals, biographics, science or astronomy, sexology. There are a lot of other secular subjects, even about medicine. They have manuscripts about medicine, books about medicine as well. So the script was not only used for religious purpose, it was used for commercial purpose. It was used to write a lot of poems, and poetries were also used, were also created using this literature. So the National Library of Paris have few manuscripts, and the first for now, the first evidence that we have about Arabic script is the Pal Santa Malay, which is the century is, some say it is 11th century, some say it is 14th century, but we are still not sure in which century it was. Okay. So this Pal Santa Malay was developed in 11th or the 14th century. It's not yet clear. The second literature work that we see is the Arya Masalas, which, and about Pal Santa Malay, we have scholars saying that It talks. Some scholars say that it talks about a love theme, and some says it has about details about Sonagar, Yonagar, and this is also not really confirmed by any scholars. So next is the Arya Masala, which is a literature that asks question and answers. So it's like a question and answer literature, and so there is also evidences saying that around the 16th century, around the 16th century, when the Portuguese came to Tamil country, they actually took over the Tamil Muslims, and the Tamil script, that is the Arabi literature work, was really going down. There were not a lot of literature works were done. They were not. There was a very strict order. They were not allowed to do any like religious works. So the Tamil Muslims used the script in madrasas to teach the Tamil Muslims, and also as the script was known, which was very readable, and it was very easy for the Tamil Muslims to understand, but it was not very readable for others, like others who are not from the Tamil Muslim community, didn't have a knowledge about this script. So they were not able to read it. So this was used as a secret language also to spread message and to write letters. This was used as a secret language as well. So next of the biggest Puranam that we have in our Arvi script is the Seerah Purana, which was written in 1642 by Umar Pullavar. And this talks a lot about the life of Prophet Muhammad. And in 16, after the Portuguese rule, or after like 1600s, Hafiz Amir Wali Appa, he actually, so before that, the script was written. Each author, each writer had their own phonetic and grammar style. This was written on their own style. But after him, this actually gave a good style for the Arabic script. He actually reintroduced it. And after this, there were a lot of other literature works that came out, which talks a lot about the secular subjects as well. So the first Quran that was translated by Habib Muhammad Alam Shahib was in 1876. So the development of print technology. So there is a saying that the development of print technology was one of the reasons for Arabic script's decline. But there is another thing as well. There is after the development of print technology, a lot of writers started writing in Arabic. So there are like two things. We are not sure whether actually print technology did make the decline of Arabic. We are not sure. So first, after the development of print technology, the first book that came out was not Quran or Hadith. It was a manuscript, that is like late 16th century manuscript, that was handwritten manuscripts were printed and published. And due to this, as I said earlier, due to the print technology, there were a lot of writers who took this as a profession and started writing. In 1842, the Seerah Purana was printed and published. And from 1867 to 1920, if you see, there is almost 1,300 Arabic Tamil books were published. So they say like there are a lot of other books as well, but scholars have not researched about a lot about it. So we have almost 1,300 books that is in Arabic Tamil script. So so as I said earlier, it had a lot of books about secular and also religious works. So some scholars say that even if it was about secular subject, it was mainly based on Arabic or Persian and Urdu lifestyles and cultures. For example, when we talk about medicine, they specifically talk about Unani medicine, which is still in practiced in a lot of areas. So even if they talk about secular subjects, they focused or some way involved the Muslim culture in it. This was what is said by a lot of scholars. So next is the decline. Give me a second, I'll just drink water. So about the decline. So after during the 20th century, it saw a decline. So there are several reasons for this decline. So Dr. K.M.A. Ahmad Zubair says that this may be due to the globalization era. So as Britishers came in and started colonizing Tamil Nadu and India in common, they started to make English a standard language. So when language was getting standardized, this Arabic Tamil, which was only known and which was very common among the Tamil Muslims, uh, did lose its value. So that's why the replacement of English and the tedious printing process. So the tedious printing process, sorry, I have written writing process. I'm really sorry for the mistake. So tedious printing process, because it was really hard to print Arabic. The script, there were not a lot of there were printing presses, but it was very hard to print, make the printing of the script. So maybe that could be a reason for the decline of Arabic Tamil, is what scholars say. Sorry. One more scholar, Yunus Ahmad Muhammad Sharif, says that after Britishers coming in during the colonization, they started to categorize people. So they started to categorize people, and this started a thing that only the Urdu speaking Muslims were considered to be the actual converts of actual Muslims, and the converts who were of Tamil Muslims were not considered to be the actual Muslims. So this really made the Tamil Muslims feel low. So to join in the society, to have that standard in the society, they started learning Urdu. They started practicing their scripts in Urdu. They started writing their literature works in Urdu. So to have a community that for the society to have a good standard in the society, it is said that maybe the Tamil people, because of this categorizing people, and it was actually said that Tamil Muslim were called as the low Muslim converts, and Urdu speaking Muslims were called as the actual Muslims in India. So this categorizing made people choose Arabic or Urdu as their language, and they started losing their identity. The identity was Arabic Tamil. So Arabic Tamil lost its identity because of these reasons. Next is the Dravidian movement. So as a lot of us know, E.V.R. Ramaswamy Naikar, who is also called as Periyar, most famously called as Periyar. So he, during the Dravidian movement, was a part of, he was a congressman, but he left Congress and joined the Justice League, and then he became a Dravidian Kalagam in 1944. So during his position, he really fought against untouchability. So there was caste system in Tamil Nadu. So as I said before, we will talk about caste system. So because there was caste system in Tamil Nadu and there was untouchability was practiced a lot here, Periyar really pushed people to become or convert to Muslim, because Muslim didn't have the caste system. So Ramaswamy Naikar, Periyar, pushed a lot of low caste people to convert to Muslim. And he wrote a book called Kudiyarasu in 1947. In that, he talks how the low caste people can turn or convert to Muslim, so that this untouchability can be eradicated. So a lot of his Periyar's the party people were really furious about how he could support Islam like this. But he didn't blindly support Islam as well. He did talk against certain practices that were done in Muslim community as well. But because of this thought that he had to eradicate untouchability, he said the low caste people, it would be good if you turn or convert to Muslims. So next in 1967, CN Annadurai, led by Dravida Munnetra Kalagam, that is DMK. So he also really made and really supported Muslims. So there is a story where there was a meeting going that Annadurai came in and helped the Muslim meeting to the Islam meeting to go well. He was suffering from cancer, but still he came to support the Muslims. So there is a lot of stories, that a lot of events that happened to say that these people, the political people, were also supporting Tamil Muslims. So next is a revival step. We are almost at the end of the talk. This is the revival step that can be done to bring back Arabic as a script. So the manuscripts that are found in different libraries that are available can be reprinted. It can be collected and reprinted, because this might have a really good history about Tamil Muslims. We really don't know a lot about the Tamil Muslims. So these manuscripts may have, if they were reprinted, may have a really good insight about Tamil Muslims. And next, this is some revival step that I feel can be done. So it can be made compulsory. So a lot of madrasas don't teach Arabic nowadays. So it can be made compulsory. So to the younger generation, at least to introduce a script, that the script was there among Tamil Muslims. It can be introduced, and it can be made compulsory for them to learn the script, learn the language. And conducting meetings and talks and conferences about, for example, a talk like this can be done on Arabic script. So then publication of children magazine and composition of literary works can be done. So this is a Unicode that we have now for Arabic script, Arabic letters. Yes, this is a Unicode. So this information, this last information was given by a really good soul called Anish Ahmed. He is doing his MA in Arabic in New College in Chennai. So really, I thank him for giving me this information. So I asked him, like, what is the situation of Arabic now? Is this really taught? Is this really taught, and do people know about Arabic? So he gave me this information saying that, yes, it is like traditional Tamil countries, Tamil states like Keelakarai, Kailpatnam. They still have this practice of reciting religious recitals in Arabic. So, and also some madrasas obviously teach about Arabic Tamil, but not all the madrasas that teach about Arabic is what he said. And he, along with his friend who's working in Zogo, is developing an keyboard for Arabic, which is really a nice information, using the new technologies to bring in lost language. That's really amazing. And these are the two images he shared with me. This is a print of Arabic that is printed even now in Shagul Hamid and Sons triplicate in Chennai. So we have printing of Arabic, but not a lot. These are like religious manuals that are being printed. So this really surprised me. This is a certificate of achievement. So if you see, there is English and Arabic script. So this Arabic is written typed using the Unicode that we saw. So this is the recent certificate that was printed using the Arabic script. So the books I referred to for all this information is Maritime History of Coromandel Muslims by Raja Muhammad, So from this book, I got a lot of information about the Tamil Muslims, about Coromandel Coast, the different ports, how the trade was done, commercial trade. And that was the information I got from that book. And next is Muslim Identity, Print Culture, and Dravidian Factor in Tamil Nadu by J.B.P. Moore. This book had a lot about print culture, how print culture influenced the language, Arabic script. And I also got the subdivisions from this book. It's really good book. And Arab Tamil Akangalum. This book really helped me for this research. I got a lot of information from this book about the Arabic letters, about Tamil letters, how they are mixed together to make Arabic Tamil. So it was really interesting to read that book. So these are the books I refer to, and Dakshin Chitra Library has almost about 15,000 books. It is accessible to public as well. And we have an amazing librarian called Indu. She's really helpful in all the queries you ask, and she really helped me with this research to get books. And thank you, Indu ma'am, for doing that. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, Dakshin Chitra, for providing me such a good platform to talk about the things I really admire about. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, you're open to ask questions. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Koshika.
Hi.
Are you able to listen to me? I'm Manjula.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, congrats. Wonderful presentation. You've
Thank
done a lot
you.
of research.
Thank
I
you.
learned a lot personally. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So earlier you were telling Yavanas were Muslims.
Yeah.
Okay. I was under the impression that Yavanas were Greco-Roman traders.
Yeah, there is actually in first a certain period they were called as Romans and Greeks, but after a certain period, all the foreigners that came to Tamil Nadu were called as Yavanas. So also there is a description that says that Yavanar was from a Persian word called Yuna. So yeah, so that's what I said. There is no clear-cut evidence that say that they are called as Yavanas. These people are called as Yavanas. No, so they have evidence saying that maybe they might be Greeks and Romans, and they might be Arabs as well. But there is a clear evidences that all the foreigners who came to Tamil Nadu for trade were called as Yavanas.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Koshika. That's what I wanted to ask.
Thank you.
And also about Korkai, I just had few words.
Yeah,
so Korkai earlier, it was the Pandya's most popular coastal capital. So all these things, they had an inland capital as well as a coastal capital. So Korkai was very popular during the Sangam age. And since the water had receded in, they were unable to do trade there. So it was stopped. They stopped it it stopped from being a port. Now water has resided and receded there in Korkai, and there are a lot of archaeological works going on there. I've been to Korkai recently.
Okay, that's a really nice information. Thank you, Manjula, for sharing it.
Okay, Koshika. Nice presentation. Thank
you.
Koshika, Anwar.
Hi, sir.
Hi. Where did you get this information that Tamil Muslims are today learning Urdu because they consider themselves as lower caste?
I got it from an article written by M.H. Mahroof. So yeah, it was from an article, sir.
Okay, I mean, one thing, don't mistake me. It was interesting what you're attempting. But one basic aspect, I think a lot of your interns, that there is a saying in Tamil, Kannal Kanpadum Pai, Kadar Ketpadum Pai, Thira Visaripadu May. So you need to, when we started research, the thing is that even secondary sources need to be cross-checked and verified. You can't take something because something is written. Okay, so in today's society, there is so much of misinformation. It's a WhatsApp university thing. So you can't take it because somebody says so. You need to verify it with some sources. And to put things in perspective, I'm a Tamil speaking Muslim, and I don't belong to any place of that you said. Kilakare, Kayalpatnam, or Tirunelveli. I come from Madurai. And
Okay.
Tamil Muslims are spread right from Pulicat. If you
Yes.
go to Pulicat, you'll find, from there, the entire coastal region, if you travel down East Coast Road, you'll find Tamil Muslim community. Plus, they are spread across Tamil Nadu, mainly in urban centers. So, not necessarily those three regions. And the other, because why I was very surprised was Tamil Muslims were very much part of the anti-Hindi agitation. Okay. A lot of them were opposed to the imposition of Hindi. And so, such a community, if we say, they are today learning Urdu, see, these are the perceptions, that if you are going to talk to a Urdu Muslim, each community, thinks, and everybody thinks that they are the upholders of the true tradition, not necessarily Muslims, anywhere.
Okay.
So it depends on whom you are talking, and you're right in a way that it's a lopsided history. That it's mainly when we think Islam, we talk about the Urdu Muslims in North India and all that. Not many understand Islam came here, through trade in the 7th century. You have in Kerala Malayalam speaking Muslims.
Yeah, Kerala.
Malayalam is an offshoot later, and you have similar like Arabic Tamil. You have Arabic Malayalam.
Arabic Malayalam, yeah.
But one other thing is, I really don't. I never learned Arabic Tamil. And I don't intend to do, because it's not that I hate or anything, but why do we need to romanticize this as a lost language? It was never the language of Tamil Muslims as such. See, when you say Tamil language of Tamil Muslims, it is as if they spoke that. Okay, now the thing is, the script is Arabic, but what they spoke was Tamil.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was practiced probably in coastal area. In inland area where I come from, Madurai district, we didn't have Arabic Tamil. Okay, and we really don't have that many texts in Arabic Tamil. And just like, and for your own researchers, for other researchers here, I'm saying just like Arabic Tamil, Tamil has been written in various scripts, not just Arabic. Okay, please, find out. There is in Madras itself, you'll find Tamil that was written in Telugu. Okay, in Sanskrit. There are other languages. Unfortunately, there has been a kind of somebody is trying to market this thing as an industry. It's a lost language, trying to romanticize the past. Because there was a standardization that happened early 20th century. We had Tani Tamil Yakam. Okay, in that, I think, everybody kind of merged, and that is also one of the reasons why Arabic went. And a lot of the literature that you said, Seerah Purana or Palchan Malay, the earliest, all are written in Tamil. They are not in Arabic Tamil.
Okay.
They are all written in Tamil. Okay. So you really don't have, despite all the tall claims, I would really take it with a pinch of salt. The claims of so many. Yes, some jurisdictional books on law, Islamic law, and all that, might be there, and translations of Quran might be in Arabic Tamil and all that. But that is it. That was the need of the time. When there was a link language, Arabs who came here to settle down, and mind you, you also need in today's context, when you say the term convert, you need to be really careful. It's not the Hindus who converted to Islam. Okay, I'm sorry, if I'm saying this.
No, it is actually nice. Yeah,
because Islam came here through trade, and it was really appreciated by. The Muslims had a good place in the society because they brought, as you rightly said, foreign exchange. Lot of money. They brought horses. They made the place wealthy. So there is, if you look at my film, I talk about the Yavanas who came by the ship. And Yavanas was any outsider at one point of time. The word Yavana goes and becomes replaced by Sonagan, which also you pointed out. And that is when it actually becomes dominated by Muslims. At one point of time, Sonagans also included Christians, the Syrian Christian community and all. The Jonagan Christians were there. The Jews, they all were there at Jonagan. But at some point of time, it stuck with Muslims because that was the predominant community. Okay. So now, this being the case, there were conversions that took place because of just today in India, we face a political situation, social situation where there is phobia, polarization and all that. This is not something new to India. So we went through it in 7th century, where Jainism and Buddhism were under attack. And our belief is that the first conversions took place when the Tamil Jains were trying to escape. And I am sure you are aware. We have a Tamil Jain community, still. That's a 2,000-year-old community. And when they were under attack, they felt threatened, and some of them, embraced Islam. That's the first conversion, we believe. Then Buddhists subsequently, and then of course, you also brought in Periyar. So other communities, that felt kind of threatened. Sanar, there was a community that was not just untouchable, should be unseen. Kandali Thita, not Totta Thita. Even if you see them, you get polluted. There were communities, that were ostracized that way. So though they embraced Islam and Christianity, allowed them to, as rightly pointed, allowed them to keep the caste. In Islam in Tamil Nadu, there is no caste. You go North India, there is caste in Islam. Let's be very clear on that. So, and then you had Periyar, who actually encouraged Dalits to embrace Islam. So it's a combination of the traders who came, and then also the conversions that took place, people fleeing persecution and all that. So a number of these factors, and that is how this community evolved. So that would be my saying. Please, that's interesting. Nevertheless, the area that you are touching upon. Just thought for you. And please look at other Tamil scripts. There are Tamil written in other things, and there is an industry that is trying to romanticize this Arabic Tamil. Though I am a research scholar, I will not really, because there were other scripts. And if you look at early Tamil in 20th century, it had so much of Sanskritic influence. We call it as Manipravala Nadai, which was de-Sanskritized. So there are a number of things. It's not just Arabic Tamil. We have to look at it in context with Telugu Tamil. The Madras Bhasha, what we do. So we need to really go deep into that. But now there's interesting presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your input. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Anwar sir, for your beautiful insights. Thank you so much, Dakshin Chakra, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.